Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 68 of the 40k Badcast. We're so close.
We're so close.
My name is Dan Boyd, and I'm joined, as always, by, he's sweeping the world right now, coronavirus McPandemic.
I was going to go with Cam Biohazard McPandemic, but that works too.
Oh, hey, man, you have been upgraded to a worldwide pandemic. How you feeling?
I feel like I'm everybody's problem now, which isn't that much different from normal, honestly.
Well, dear listener, I hope you're not tired of hearing about the coronavirus, because we are definitely going to be talking about it later in the show. But that's later in the show. This is now in the show. Let's hit the aspects where we talk about what is on our hobby radar. And Campbell, I'm going to start with some hobby progress. I've finally finished the first half of my Baja Blasters, and Bud, I am so freaking happy with these guys.
So you finished the Baja half. Next comes the Blaster half, obviously.
I would actually say that I finished the Blaster half because it was all the skilled positions with the thrower and the blitzers and the catchers. And next is just 6 line people because there's male and female elves in. So, yeah, I think I finished the Blasters. And then the Baja's coming up next.
No, that works for me. They're looking dope. I saw them on Twitter earlier.
Yeah, they're on my Twitter at DB_sleazy. I implore you, listener, to go check that out. I should have done a test model. I really should have done a test model because I was sort of figuring this out as I went along with this scheme. And the issue with that is I did 6 at a time.
Yeah, you did a test squad.
Yeah, so I should have done one, like a line person, and then to get my scheme down, but I didn't. And I think that's why it took so dang long, is because I was just not clear on how to do it yet, but I got it down. I'm most happy with the skin tone, which started out with Ultra One Gray. Then I did 2 coats of Nihilak Oxide.
Ooh.
Cause the first coat was just sort of, it just wasn't enough. And I know that that's like a technical paint, so it's not like it doesn't have great coverage. It has great color, but not great coverage. Cause I don't think people really use it for skin color ever.
No, they should though.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. I do not mean this in any sort of negative way, but it's very Captain Planet.
Yeah, no, when it came out, I was like, oh shit.
Like your folks all have white hair, but, actually, some of the rings, I guess you could go for that.
I did the white hair because I wanted it to look like the fizz, the bubbles on top of the soda.
Now that's conceptual. I'm very into that. Very into your conceptual soft drink based fantasy football players.
Yeah. So it was Nihilak Oxide, and then I did a recess shade with Nuln Oil, just to darken the mouth areas or the eye sockets or whatever. And then I did a highlight of Ultra One Gray again.
Okay.
Which worked out really well, I thought.
Do Elven Union teams have access to any sort of big guy players that you could have be the stand-in for the Baja Blast Margarita? Something that'll really get you fucked up?
Unfortunately, no. Only in star players that they can take as inducements. But on the regular roster, they are stuck with just elves. So since finishing them, what is today? This is
the 11th.
This is Wednesday, the 11th.
It is 3/11, the day of my favorite band.
Oh, it is 3/11 day, isn't it? I like
forget.
reggae. I honestly like reggae, and I hate 3/11.
Yeah, that's why you don't like 3/11.
So I have since started on the second half of the squad, and I'm already blasting through the progress on them because I have the schemes figured out.
Baja blasting, please.
Baja blasting through the progress. So hopefully I'll have these guys finished up before Adepticon. But again, we're gonna be talking about that in a minute. So as far as hobby progress goes, that's it for me. You have been on vacation for a week, and I'm 100% sure that you've done more hobby progress than I have.
You're right on both accounts. I was in Oregon recently, in Central Oregon, which if there's any ham players in Central Oregon, let me know what's up, because I saw no trace of Warhammer out there and it made me very bummed out, as much as I love that general area. But I got to feed some goats. I got to go hiking around. I saw a bunch of extremely cool birds, including a bunch of chickens I got up close and personal with.
The coolest bird of them all. I'm
escalating in coolness of bird, all right. I started with goats. You have a nice baseline, which, by the way...
Not a bird, Campbell.
I mean, I didn't go to zoo school, so I couldn't tell you that for sure.
Maybe we should get our friend Peter on the line. He's a zoologist. He'll learn us good.
Are goats birds? Email us to let us know. So I saw cool chickens. That's cool. A brewer's blackbird, because out in Oregon, I guess even the birds make beer. I saw a red-tailed hawk, and I then saw flying around a great horned owl, and that was extremely cool because he was great, he was horned, and he was an owl.
Yeah, he's checking all the boxes.
Yeah, no, it was real cool. Get to hang out, drink a whole bunch of beer, and see some cool friends of mine. Before
that sounds
I did that,
wonderful.
It was wonderful.
Listeners, always feel free to email us or tweet at us about birds you see or hear.
Yeah, because while Dan will be able to engage with you in conversation, I can still go, cool bird, bro.
Cool bird, bro.
So other than that, before I left, I got to do a bunch of hobby stuff. I painted the Chaos Lord on Karkadrak from the Start Collecting set. I haven't taken any pictures of him yet, but I had a ton of fun painting that model. It was like all the things I like about the Chaos Knights, but none of the things I don't like. For one, his cape is like tastefully to the side.
Tasteful.
Not going over everything and making it impossible. For two, there's only one of him, so I don't need to paint 5 at once. But also I got to have some fun like freehanding on his cape. I got to mix a bunch of cool colors, like the Karkadrak dinosaur thing I'm on. I figured it's from the realm of fire, so I used like I painted it in like this magenta shade, and then I contrast blacked over that for the spiny parts, and then edge highlighted with some custom colors. Like I had a ton of fun painting this guy, and I'm really stoked to get pictures of him out there. Other
Good.
than that,
I can't wait to see him.
You'll see him soon enough now that I'm back established here. I built 5 of the old Chaos Knights, which are extremely lame compared to the Start Collecting ones.
Yeah.
But they don't have capes, which means they look lamer, but they do paint up a lot easier. They're painting up pretty quickly. And other than that, I got bored painting them, so I decided to kit bash up a sorcerer, because Chaos Sorcerer Lords are kind of like the guys to have in your Slaves to Darkness armies, just because they can buff stuff and cast spells and all that stuff.
Daves to Darkness.
Fuck, you're right.
You imbecile.
I have to excuse myself from the show now. Go flush myself down the toilet as per usual.
All right, now episode 68. It's only Dan.
Dan and the Days of Darkness.
that would thrill like maybe one person out there.
I'm sure your brother would love it.
He listens to the show.
I know he does.
He's a good boy.
He's a fine fella. But I kit bashed the Chaos Sorcerer for my Days of Darkness, and it is like one of the more extensive kit bashes I've done. I did it using bits from like 7 different kits and some green stuff, which
Nice.
I'd never used green stuff before. So I had like the Slaughter Priest, which came free in White Dwarf like 3 years ago or something. The spear from one of those Chaos Knights, a Chaos Chariot weapon head on top of that to make it look like a cool wizard staff sort of thing.
Yeah.
He's got a skull in his belt from the Skulls kit. He's got like the Teruges from like a Space Marine Tactical Squad like hanging over his junk because it's where a corn symbol was, and I had to hide that.
Right.
He's got the helmet from a Start Collecting Chaos Warrior, and a scroll from a Flagellant kit, and then a bunch of green stuff for I sculpted onto his shoulders to cover up the frankly pretty shitty job I did attaching the Chaos Knight arm to the body. But that's what that goop is for. And I haven't started painting him yet, but I'm real excited to get working on him, because I'm kind of not feeling painting like big squads of dudes right now. I want to paint like characterful models that really just kind of have the flavor of an army just standing in one model. Yeah,
well, that's what we all want, right? Is just to paint characters.
Yeah, just paint endless numbers of characters. I guess that's kind of what Necromunda and Warhammer Underpants are sort of like. So
I guess. Yeah.
Well,
did you batch paint your muscle bunch for Warhammer Underpants? Underpants? Ugh, jeez.
Wow. Just see yourself out. No, Underpunts is my Blood Bowl team, obviously.
The Underpunts, is it a goblin team with no sneaky weapons? It's just 16 goblins. That team would suck so bad.
Sounds like they do about as well as my goblins do in Warhammer Underpants.
Underpunts, thank you.
Underpunts, sure, I'm sorry. That's the unholy fusion betwixt the two. I did batch paint the muscle bunch back when I did those guys, but every single one of them has a different skin tone pretty much. So yeah, I can only batch paint certain parts of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
right.
That's my hobby stuff. Other than that, I just spent a bunch of money on Forge World because there's some cool new stuff that came up from Necromunda. Shocker.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. Did you play any games?
No, I did not.
I played one game of Necromunda against my friend Chris's Corpse Grinders, my round 5 game for the Winter of Malcontents Necromunda campaign, which is about to enter its last round this weekend.
So it's not winter for much longer.
Here's what's up. Corpse Grinders, when they have a gang rating of 3,200, guess what? They're real good.
You don't say.
Real fucking good.
What was your gang rating?
2,500.
Oh, no.
So high as far as Necromunda gangs go, but not 32. So here's, I thought I had him in the first half. I really did. Like, things were going well. I had blocked everything well. It was great. And then his fucking butcher, his leader, made an 18-inch charge because that's what fucking Corpse Grinders do. Made an 18-inch charge and got in combat with 3 of my guys, including my leader, and wiped out all 3.
Good God.
And it was just like, oh, so that's what Corpse Grinders do, huh? Yeah.
Make your guys go away very quickly.
And at that point, I was like, oh, fuck, I need to voluntarily bottle. So at the end of this match, I think I had like 6 guys taken out of action, and 4 of them are in recovery, and I think 3 of them have serious injuries, including -1 strength to my Ambot, which I'm kind of upset about. Not happy about that one.
Don't hangers on leave after they get one lasting injury?
Nah, brutes don't.
Okay.
Yeah, hangers on do, but brutes don't. So, but Chris is such a good guy that it was fine. It was a good game. And we did it at this place called the Boardroom, which is a bar that does like bar stuff and also gaming in Arlington, Virginia. And
nice.
So I had a couple beers during. So wasn't too bad. And I'm just happy that people are having fun with the campaign. I've gotten good feedback on it so far. When it wraps up, maybe when we get more into the spring here, I will do a wrap up of the campaign on the show and talk about what I learned from running my first Necro 17 campaign, not event, because I've done events before, but this will be my first campaign. So looking forward to that. Nice. All right, let's, you had something to say there, Crumbo?
Oh, I was about to say, I'm looking forward to yet another segment where you can just kind of carry it over the line. I can sit back and go, sounds cool. Hell yeah.
One set of footprints, huh? Just me. And Jesus. Don't forget Jesus. All right, let's talk about new stuff. So it's been 3 weeks since we last recorded because we were trying to time things for episode 69 to happen at Adepticon, which is looking less and less likely that that's actually going to happen, but we'll get there in the next segment. So we've got a lot of new stuff to talk about, especially because this week there's been a bunch of shit, but so we'll start off. They're introducing Warhammer Crime, which is another narrative series for Black Library, like Warhammer Horror is. I guess Warhammer Horror is focusing more on, that was real Baltimore-y, focusing
on horror.
Warhammer Horror is focusing more on Age of Sigmar. And I think Warhammer Crime is naturally going to be focusing more in the 41st millennium. And I'm excited to see what comes of that because the non-battlefield parts of Warhammer 40,000, I think, are the most interesting parts to read about in novels because, you get all this battlefield stuff in the codexes and in the rule books and everything, but you don't get like Eisenhorn. Everybody talks about Eisenhorn as the best example of this. And I personally love that stuff. And hopefully our friend of the show, TM, friend of the show, Mike Brooks, can get into this because I think he'd be really good at writing it.
I think he'd be right at home because I'm reading the
right at home.
Right at home. Yeah, home right here. Yeah, I'm reading Gaunt's Ghost right now, and there's a whole my favorite part of. I just finished this.
Tell everybody what you were telling me the other night.
I think it just. Oh, geez, what did
Spoilers incoming for a Gaunt's Ghost book that was written 15 years ago. But here we go.
It's a really good one that was written 15 years ago. Fuck me. Let's see. Let me see if I can just see what my exact fucking. Oh yeah, it's right. You sent me a message saying, "You okay, dude?" Wellness check time, and that was sometime after this, but it still feels like it's somewhat connected here. Yeah, I just wrote to you, just finished Sabat Martyr, Abnett, you absolute motherfucker.
And I believe I responded with, which part are you mad about?
He killed, I'll try to spoil this too hard, but he killed a character who had been in there for a long time, who I really cared about and was my favorite character in the series, who had my favorite scene earlier in that book when he was just like having a nice like domestic human moment hanging out at a carpenter shop talking about his dad. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like this background for this character I won't name right now. And then there's like another part where a certain character is like, they're your kids now. You're the person there for them. And I actually teared up a little bit reading it. Yeah, I'm just like, Warhammer books aren't supposed to make me feel. They're supposed to be big dumb idiots with big dumb guns shooting other big dumb idiots. And how dare they make me feel things? How dare they actually have quality and make me care?
That's Dan Abnett for you.
I was looking for an airport read, not something I would give a shit about.
Yeah. Well, I think I know why you like that one character that died so much, because he's basically your dad. Yeah,
pretty much. He only died once. He didn't die so much.
Okay. So Warhammer Crime, very excited to look into that in the near future. We got a new, what do we call him? Special character? Dramatis Personae. Thank you, model for Necromunda. Bigby Crumb, the Rattling Slopper. And I have not heard this much noise about a Necromunda model in a long fucking time. Maybe since Grendel Grendelson, because people... there's something about short boys. People just fucking love them.
We identify, all right? Dude, I open palm slammed the pre-order button the moment I saw that email.
Just windmill slamming your mouse.
Pre-ordering dozens of Big B Crumbs.
Corner the market on Big B Crumb. One hilarious note, I misspelled his last name when I was typing out the show notes, and I named him Big B Crumb.
That's a different kind of slopper.
Yeah, okay. So Big B Crumb is this little rattling fellow. He's dressed in like a chef's, or not a chef because he's not a chef, but he's dressed in like a cook's outfit.
Big difference.
With a two-handed ladle over his shoulder. And he comes with like a cauldron with a tentacle that can come out of it.
Well, that's the thing. He can drag the cauldron around, and it has like different recipes that he can put in that'll like affect the guys around him, which is actually really cool.
Yeah, and he's actually really good.
Yeah, because he's only 50 credits. Like he's actually not overpriced for once.
He's really fucking good, and he can just drag his cauldron around and get heavy cover behind it.
Yeah, because it's bigger than he is.
And he has these auras that will affect friendly models, or he can make his cauldron basically a beast slayer.
Yeah, which will just annihilate whatever gang.
We've talked about the Beast Slayer.
Oh, we have. We talked about Peter's masterstroke of a plan where he threw the Beast Slayer and killed half his gang.
Oh, talk about a stroke.
Jesus.
This one's for the horn dogs.
Oh.
I'm letting it go this time.
Okay, yeah.
Carl told me that his favorite part of that was the little dog at the end.
Pour one out for the cummies.
No, Big B Crumb. Okay, so Big B Crumb is great. I'm gonna get him too. He seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A couple of new bigly heroes for the 41st millennium. Ragnar Blackmane, the Space Wolves top horn dog, is.
I thought you were gonna say the Space Wolves top knot, which is also true.
Ooh, see, this is why I rank. Well, we're gonna. I don't want to spoil it, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Anyways, new Ragnar Blackmane. He looks fantastic as a Primaris model. Mm-hmm. They have, I think, really rendered him in a great thing. Here's the issue, Campbell. Mm-hmm. He's jumping off a piece of rubble.
He is on a hero rock, which he's digging into with his cool teeth shoes, which I'm glad they carried over along with, the great old chainsword and so on. Yeah. I don't like his hero rock. However, Gazgul Thraka's hero rock, I think, is actually pretty cool.
So I have a problem with Gazgul's hero rock. I have a problem with all hero rocks. As we all know, I took my Shrike off of his jersey wall and put him on the ground. And I don't know why they fucking have to do that, especially with Gazgul. He's huge. Yeah. He's the size of a dreadnought. He doesn't need to be standing on something. And also, like, come on, he's an enormous fucking huge, the biggest orc around. Like, whatever he steps on is gonna collapse.
I mean, he kind of looks like he's skateboarding.
It's not a good look, man.
I think he's cool. I think he's cool.
Okay, the rest of the model is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the model as a whole, I think is a thumbs up. But the fact that he's like surfing on a piece of rubble, it sucks. I don't like it. I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
No.
And I don't know what they're doing with these fucking hero rocks.
They're putting guys on them. That's what.
I don't think it looks good. Whatever.
I mean, well,
whatever. I'm sure there are ways in the building stage to mitigate Mr. Gazcool and Mr. Ragnar, I guess Mr. Blackmane, their issues here.
Well, you know who isn't on a giant hero rock?
Who?
Catachan Sergeant Ripper Jackson.
Oh my God, Ripper Jackson. What a cool fucking model that is.
She fucking rules, and she makes a lot of very insecure men on the internet very upset.
Oh my God, the shitheads were so mad that they made a special character that was a woman.
That was
a
a
Catachan
woman who could bench press them.
Oh God.
But the cool thing is, like,
as always, Campbell, fuck them.
As always, fuck them into space. So she's actually based on a Mike McVeigh, like, Golden Demon 1996 entry that was sculpted by one of the Perrys, and you can see it in Codex Catachans. And this one looks way cooler. But like
Mike McVeigh, man.
It's like, it's the thing they do. They take the classics and they just update them for today. And
it's a nice, those classics, baby.
Dude, she's got a cool bionic leg, got a cool chainsaw sword, got a cool bolt gun. Like, she's got it all. The only thing she doesn't have is availability, because you can only get her at store openings, which fucking sucks.
Yeah, she'll be on eBay for quite a lot of doll hairs.
Yeah, I think she might be available for store birthdays too. I don't know about that, in which case I will get one. But don't think too many stores are going to be opening in the Boston area, since we already have one and we're approximately 10 square miles.
Right. So that's a trio of really good models coming out for Warhammer 40,000. Guys, just so I should say listeners, just so y'all know, I am a fan of both Ragnar and Gazcool. I think they're fantastic models. I just wish that they would cool it on the fucking hero rocks, man. I
get that. I also wish, like, I read the bit of their lore where basically they cut each other's heads off, then got put back together, which is it's a little too comic book even for me.
Yeah, I mean, you throw a head squig on an orc, it's like brand new.
Well, see,
nothing has changed.
No, that's the real like galaxy brain move, is guys go throw his head on like a pretty small squig. Just fucking mashing around.
Squig. Most powerful squig in the galaxy. All right, the rest of the Sisters kits are coming out. We're getting Immolators. We're getting Seraphim and Zephyrim. I probably fucking that last one up, but
Zeppelins
don't really care.
And dirigibles. We're getting the whole thing.
We're getting the Imagifier, I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but we're getting it. A lot of really cool stuff coming out for Sisters, and I think that completes the range.
I think so. It's been
if we're wrong, tell us, and we'll be like, neat.
We'll be like, neat. Looking forward to seeing more cool stuff that I forgot about.
All right, so there was an expo. Exposition? I don't know. An expo. Gamma Expo. GAMA. What does that stand for, Campbell?
Games After Midnight Association.
You heard it here first. The Games After Midnight Association Expo.
It's for Warhammer After Dark, which is the next series of books being published by my fan fiction publishing wing.
So they revealed a whole bunch of stuff about the House of Blades, which is the next series of quote unquote codex supplements for Necromunda for House Escher, which I'm very excited about. So with House of Chains, we got 2 new Goliath fighter types. We got the Prospects, the Forgeborn, and the Champions, the Stimmers. And so for the Escher, we're getting Death Maidens.
Yep.
And Wild with a Y, not Stallions.
They're about to say they're spelled like Wild Stallions.
But Wild Runners. And of course, whenever we say Stallions, we have to...
I'm air guitaring right now. You just can't hear it because I'm pretty effective at it.
Thank you.
I'm palm muting my air guitar.
Let's start with the Death Maidens. They are Escher gangers or champions that have died. Mm-hmm. And were brought back to life, Bride of Frankenstein style, I suppose, to continue fighting. So not even in death does the duty to House Escher end.
No, I like the concept a lot. I like the veils, like the headdresses, but the poses don't do it for me. Like, I think the big, giant, like, fingernail hands that are just open and the running pose make them look kind of like Blood Bowl catchers to me. Yeah,
the poses aren't great in the design on the injector fingers
Yeah, that's the thing.
Make their hands just look comically large.
Yeah, again, that's what makes
And then
me
they
think
have
like
these
a
big,
Gary Morley sort of thing.
Yeah, these big headdresses on too. And so while they're not quote unquote heroic scale Gary Morley designs, from a distance they look like them.
I feel like I'll probably feel a little different once their models are in hand. And again, I like the headdresses and so on. I think it might just be a bad camera angle, but something about them.
Well, that's never happened before.
Ever, not a one time.
Yeah. Also, the paint job is very monochrome, which is probably on purpose, but
It's because they're supposed to be dead. I like the veils over their faces. It's a really cool thing, kind of like on the Lady Linda model.
Yeah, the ghosts, the josts, if you will. So the Wild Runners one of them's armed with a bow and arrow because you know what, man? Why the fuck not? Who fucking cares?
I think it's dope. I'm cool with it. It's a regular ass bow and arrow. I feel like
it's a bow and arrow with does it explode? Is it like the Cawdor crossbow?
No,
sure.
it's not the Rambo bow. It's a poison bow.
Sure. Oh, even cooler.
It's the tip of it's painted like neon green. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So one of them's armed with a bow and arrow. The other one has like whips and other beast taming stuff. And so these are the prospects where the Death Maidens are the champions. Hey, it looks great. Honestly, it looks great. Mm-hmm. It's just funny to me that they brought bow and arrows into Necromunda.
Hey, somebody's still reading Hunger Games for the first time, all right?
Hunger Games. Did you read Hunger Games?
I never read any Hungry James, but I watched all 4 Hungry James movies.
Yeah.
I like them. They're pretty good.
I did not. I like the first one.
Yeah.
I think I saw like half of that film. I like the first Hunger Games book, but the other 2 were lame.
All right. Well, the thing is, those Dead Ladies, Brides of Frankenstein, aren't the only champions they got coming out, because they also have matriarchs coming out for House Escher, which kind of remind me of the one of the bad guys in Wanted Dead. She had like that cool metal death mask on.
I think matriarchs might just be the new name for them for Escher champions.
Yeah, and
because they did that with Goliaths. So it's not champions anymore. Now they're forge bosses.
Yeah, but
leaders are forge tyrants. Bosses or champions are forge bosses. Yeah, they changed up all the names.
Yeah, they have models though, which is cool.
If my guess is that we're going to get new Escher weapons, I don't think we're getting a whole new plastic Escher kit. But I could be way off here. But that one Escher that they showed in that article on Community didn't look like a new sculpt. It just looked like some new weapons on her. I'm looking at it. I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, I think it's just some new weapons, which is good. It's fine.
Yeah,
more new head too, maybe. I don't know. Yep. Okay, let's keep going from the Gamma Expo. Daughters of Cain for Warhammer Underpants.
Their poses are so good.
In their case, Warhammer No Pants.
Oh, there it is.
This one's for the Horn Dogs.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so
I just high-fived myself. The one with the whip, that pose is insane.
Oh, she's leaping around a thing.
Yeah, that pose is great.
It's really good. These models are fantastic. There's Snake Lady, there's Hair Lady ×4, including Snake Lady, and then there's No Hair Lady, and they look great. I mean, it's Daughters of Cain. I personally love the design of the Daughters of Cain, and this is just another set of cool models for a game I don't play. I mean,
speaking of cool models for games you don't play,
let's talk about that for a second. For Warhammer Underpants, as far as I know, for like organized play for Underpants, there's like seasons almost.
Yeah, just like any collectible card game, and cards get cycled out.
Right, and so the warbands get cycled out, and to me, that just guarantees that I'm never going to play it.
And here's the problem with that is if you and I just grabbed a random box and just played with the cards out of the box just as they are, you'd still kind of have that sort of nagging feeling in the back of your brain going like, this is temporary, this is ephemeral, this is meaning like this is going to go away. Like that affects me at least. Like it just kind of hits the overall morale of playing the game. Kind of like when I was playing 40k in 7th edition, where even if I was having fun, I just know like culturally there's such a negative sort of thing going on that kind of depresses some of my interest in it.
Yeah, well, If you think we're idiots, listeners, for saying this stuff about underpants, just let us know.
I don't think that's a very unpopular opinion. How about that? A lot of people are pretty upset when they start discontinuing cards and models and so on.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's move on. New knights for Adeptus Titanicus, the Knight Acheron and Knight Castigator. They are Forge World knights that exist. I think our friend Scott Horus Heresy has a Knight Acheron. I think I've played against it too. In 40k, it's no good, so maybe it's better in Adeptus Titanicus, though. I don't know how good a flamethrower is going to be against Warlord Titans.
Take void shields off, hit other knights. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're cool. They're cool. That's all that matters.
At some point, I know I'm going to have to play Adeptus Titanicus because fucking Alfredo sent me the whole box set, but I'm not there yet.
Yep.
So we got some more stuff for Age of Sigmar, these high elves, and buddy, I got to tell you, the new high elf range sucks.
I disagree. There's parts of it I don't like, but there's parts of it I do like. I like the actual...
I'm looking at this like Stone Mage character.
Mm-hmm.
Just the longhorn headdress, the tiny contact points on the model. It's like probably 6 inches tall and it's all base. Like, I don't know, dude. They did it with the Teclis model too. How Teclis is sort of floating. I took a closer look at the face on Teclis also, and it just sucks. It's not good.
So the problem with Teclis is it feels like it's someone was designing the model in like AutoCAD or 3ds Max or whatever, and they just kind of left a model T-posing off in the distance and forgot to pose it before sticking onto the model, and it just kind of comes with the big monster guy. With sitting Stone Mage Hoverman, I love the cloud details. I love the pose. But I do hate how his headdress looks like he has baboon sideburns.
Yeah, and like the face, just like it just looks like chubby.
The faces, a lot of the faces look kind of like Jess Goodwin sketches. Like they don't look quite as human.
Well, you scroll up in this article and you like find one of these archers. I like the design of these archers actually, and you can look at the face and it's like angular and like elven features.
Yeah,
and then you look at this Stone Mage and it's just like. Here's a chubby boy. Look at those cheeks, huh? You get a pinch of those cheeks there. Love it. Like elves are supposed to be like sort of ethereal and like super skinny, but this guy just looks like he's been hitting the Twinkies. And he's holding all of it in his face.
And just big pants. I'm a big fan of the archers. Like I think the cavalry they showed a few weeks ago are really dope. I really like just the line infantry, but the characters are not quite doing it for me with the Lumineth Realm Lords, which that's fine.
No. Okay, so let's move on to the last thing. They teased somebody with a purple backpack with brains in it.
Skin, brains, why not both?
A skin cloak with some chirurgeon's tools, and some sort of ghastly helper removing the progenoid glands from a downed ultramarine. I think it's pretty clear who they're teasing here.
Yeah, it's about time Fabulous Bill got a new model. He's probably the best of those second edition Chaos characters, like the one that's held up the longest. Although I'm a really big fan of the Chaos dude with accompanying weirdos look, like the Dark Apostle model, or even Pater Sin from the Gaunt's Ghost books. Like I really like that sort of retinue of weirdos who just follow the guy around. I like that a lot.
They need helpers. Yeah. So it's Fabius Bile or Fabulous Bill or whatever you want to call him.
Fabius Bike, as he was written in the back of the 5th edition rulebook.
Old Fabius Bike. Yeah. He's actually one of my favorite Chaos characters. Somebody who's just like, you know what? I can do some real cool stuff if these fucking Imperials just leave me alone and let me do it. And then he gets to do that because he's just like, fuck this, I'm doing it. And then all the Chaos guys are like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm, making monsters over here. And they're like, cool. Can we borrow some? And he's like, oh, you gonna give them back? And they're like, yes. And he's like, all right, I'll trust you.
Yeah. When you ask, why do you make monsters? He says, why not?
There you go. He's a helper is what he does. Anyways, so that's the Gamma reveals. And then in a new series that they're doing on Necromunda in Warhammer Community, the Underhive Informant. So when they announced this, I was worried that they were going to be stealing content from Necromunda. What I write for Goonhammer with our friend Jules. But they're not. They're like showing pictures of new models and stuff, which at Necromunda we can't do
because you don't have them.
Because we don't have any of that. So they're showing pictures of new models. They're showing some new rules and stuff. So we got close-ups on the Phalanx cats.
Yeah. How do you feel about those?
They're fine. They're just little gribbly monsters.
I was hoping to be a little more feline and look a little less like skinks from Warhammer Fantasy.
That's what House Escher does is they mix and match.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. They just look a lot like old Trish Morrison monster sculpts, which I kind of dig. I've always sort of enjoyed that aesthetic, but I've never really like bought into it too hard. But
I can come out and say I'm a fan. I think they look pretty cool. I get what people are saying, but I think they look cool.
They're no Stump Croc. Let's be honest here.
No.
But what is?
Nothing.
Absolutely.
So they also are releasing a new Cawdor character called Ratus Tatterskin.
Very good name.
He has rats and he has a heavy stubber. And he, I guess, lets the rats fire the heavy stubber sometimes. Rats can have little stubber as a treat.
As a treat.
And then what everybody is real excited about is Scrutinator Primus Servalen.
God, that's a Warhammer name.
It's real Warhammer. And she is basically an internal affairs officer for the Enforcers, who is also a psychic null. So she nullifies the effects of psychers nearby. And her model is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I love her extreme bangs haircut. I like her pose. I like her like little duster and jacket that's poking out under her armor.
Yep.
But Campbell, who does she pal around with?
Ooh, she's got her good buddy KB88, which I just don't know why it took GW this long to realize we just wanted pets in our games.
We just want pets.
A cool Robodog.
Cybermastiff KB88. He's way better than BB88. I'll tell you that much.
Well, BB8 singular, please.
I thought he was BB88.
No, it's just BB8.
Whatever. Way better than that little fucking ball that's rolling around, because this guy will play fetch with that little motherfucker.
Yeah, this is fucking Dynamut over here with a scope for an eye.
Yeah, he looks kind of terrifying, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm super into it.
So yeah, these models are fantastic. But these Enforcers, I have an Enforcer gang sitting in this fucking Dark Uprising box.
Oh yeah, you do.
I might have to go fucking put them together. Fuck. And then get this lady. Though this lady, she's a what do you call it? She's a dramatis personae.
Yeah,
so she's not. She can be used in different ways. So I might just have to get her. Anyways.
Yeah.
So that's it for new stuff. Let's move on to the segment where we make the call. All right. This one is from Ken Myers via email. Big fan of the show, you jabronis. Mm-hmm. I have a question for We Make the Call. Do you think that 40K needs a new faction / race to expand the universe? If GW was to add a new race, what do you think the setting is missing that could be filled in by the new race? Let's start with the first question. Campbell, do you think that 40K needs a new faction or race?
I mean, I don't think it needs a new faction or race. I feel like we've got a decent balance, but of like between the armies, or there's some that always need it. But that's been, you could have asked me at literally any point in the last 30 years or so, and I probably said the same thing. But I would just say no. It doesn't, like, I'd say there's enough out there right now. I'd say now if there was a new one and it was really dope, I'd be like, awesome, whatever. But like, there's things I'd rather have kind of get revisited and brought up to speed first. Like, well, we talked about it earlier, Catachans, or not like I have a tab of Catachans open behind the notes for this episode, which I totally do for whatever reason.
Okay.
But like Age of Sigmar will just keep bringing out like cool new armies and all that stuff. And I know that works well for them. Like from a hype perspective, like always something new is really cool. But I feel like, we've gotten a bunch of new stuff recently. Let's revisit some old stuff. Then we can kind of cycle things back. I feel like when was the last time we got like a new like army, like real army from scratch? Like I think the last one was Adeptus Mechanicus, right? Or Knights.
Yeah, probably one of those two. Didn't they come out around the same time?
More or less, because they're both I think they're both 7th edition armies.
Man, there's a lot of cool races that they talk about in the Xenology book, which, man, there'd be some cool stuff in there.
Like it's kind of mimetic at this point, but stuff like a crew army list, like bring that back from the old Forge, like because there used to be the Forge World one with all the Forge World models, like that sort of thing's cool. Or like a Tau Auxiliaries army where it's just all the alien weirdos and not necessarily the Crisis suits and Riptides and all that shit that we're used to seeing. Like I feel like there's room for a lot of these things, and I think a lot of the weirder corners of the universe are being explored via Necromunda and Blackstone Fortress and stuff like the Zote and Ambuls and Felixes, whatever.
Umbra. Fucking Q-orals or quarrels. There's so much cool shit in this book.
Hrud.
The Hrud. I would actually love to see. Yeah, here's Hrud. I would love to see a faction that acts like way differently on the battlefield, like something that would, like you could like have a completely new mechanic.
Yeah.
That is like the core mechanic of that army. I think that would have to be it. It couldn't just be like, oh, here are a bunch of tough guys who are tough, or here are a bunch of shoot guys who are shoot. Just like something that's completely new. I don't know exactly what that would be, but I think it would have to be totally new to make any sense on the battlefield. So just off the top of my head, maybe an army that its troops or its units can combine. Like, let's say you've got 10 of one unit, you can turn them into like a bunch of TI, well, not TIs. Not Texas Instrument, no. Like what the Robert Patrick in that film in Judgment Day.
Oh yeah,
you know,
Terminator, yeah,
like they can combine. Like you've got a squad of 10, they can be a squad of 10 over here, but then they combine into like a mean dreadnought guy. Yeah, and maybe they switch like battlefield roles when they do that or
that'd
something.
Be cool.
I don't know,
like the Adeptus Voltronicus or whatever. Yeah,
but like a completely new mechanic like that.
Yeah,
would to me is the only thing that would make sense.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Like, it needs to do something novel and really interesting that isn't just something we already have before. Because even Adeptus Mechanicus, when they started, it was like, ooh, an army with no transports. That's pretty wild. And everything's all walkers. Now they have hover tanks. Like, yeah, the hover tanks are really fucking cool. And they're still
they're really good.
Yeah, and they're still an army that doesn't have psychers. Like, they still have their own sort of niche, but...
No, I mean, Necrons don't have psychers. Dark Eldar don't have psychers.
Yeah, but...
Harlequins do have psychers.
Yeah, but like Necrons are slow.
Tau doesn't have psychers.
Yeah, but those all have different sort of other things going on. Like Necrons are slow and durable. Tau are stationary.
Shoot.
Dark Eldar are fast and fragile.
Yeah.
Adeptus Mechanicus are kind of somewhere in between some of those things. Like finding that balance between like not Space Marine, not Guard for AdMech was kind of a challenge. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'd need a totally new mechanic, but...
An all cavalry army. There it is.
Yeah.
Impossible to store, impossible to paint. All cavalry all the time.
All right. Well, Ken, I hope that answered your question. Thanks for writing in. And gang, always be writing to the 40k Badcast. Yep. Contact at 40kbadcast.com. Let us know what's going on in your lives. Give us questions. Show us your pets. Show us your models. We want to see it. We want to know. We want to be a part of your life.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Dog music videos.
Let's talk about Adepticon, man, and what the hell is up with this convention, because the events going on in the world right now are completely throwing our planning into chaos.
Yeah, and not just ours, pretty much everybody's.
Right. So let's quickly talk about what our plans were, and then we'll move on to what our plans are.
Sure.
And we'll just have a little discussion about what's going on. So originally the plan was to leave on the 25th of March, head over to O'Hare Airport in Chicago, and hitch a ride with you and hopefully Carl.
Yep.
To the Renaissance in Schaumburg. And Thursday, I don't think we had any activities planned. We're going to play some Blackstone Fortress with our friend Craig and try to get in a game with Jody and Carl, the challenge game. Friday, you were doing the friendly, if I remember correctly.
Yep. And then the marquee event, 40k Trivia, afterwards.
Mm-hmm. And I was doing, what's the playing game? Aeronautica Imperialis. Thank you.
Wow. Real prepared.
So, Trivia, though, of course, was going to be the big event there. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'm playing Blood Bowl. And I think you had nothing planned for Saturday.
Yeah, it was just going to be chilling out with getting some open games in. Like, I know Beersy was going. Like, a whole bunch of, like, our crew are going. So we're planning on going. So I was going to be playing some games with them.
Right. And then coming back on Monday, because Sunday night is always a good time to party.
Yep. Nothing like flying back wicked hungover.
You know it. So... that was our plans before that pesky little bugger, the coronavirus, started spreading throughout the world. And now it's Man, I don't even know what my plans are, dude.
Yeah, well, like, I'm actually surprised Adepticon has not been canceled already, because E3, South by Southwest, Emerald City Comic Con, Cool Mini or Nots thing, and GDC, the Game Developers Conference, all got canceled. And some of those are coming up soon. Some of those, like, were just about to happen. Some of those aren't happening for months, and they've all been canceled preemptively.
Yeah, my company had an event in San Diego that same week. I still think the 24th and 25th that I couldn't work, but my coworkers were, but they canceled that because of this disease. And setting up an event like Adepticon costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there's guarantees and stuff built into the hotel contract for the people that run Adepticon. And I gotta imagine if they just voluntarily cancel, they're going to be out a ton of cash.
Well, that's one of my worries, because if they do cancel the whole event, the whole thing's called off. Like, this is the whole games industry, like especially the tabletop gaming industry, is not flush with cash and not flush with security. So, like, I don't know if they have some sort of business insurance, this sort of thing, but like, my worry is that could like kill Adepticon. And I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, like, their financials. I don't know shit about money, really. But I know that not doing the thing that makes you money isn't good for you having money. And they've been offering not quite refunds, but like credits towards the next year's ticket and so on, which I think is a thing to mitigate that. But there are things like all those like guaranteed minimums and hotel rates, and then just like all these big companies like schlepping their staff and material over there. And that's aside from just like, I don't want to say the loss of goodwill, because I feel like most people would understand. But it's still like, that's going to be a blow for them no matter what.
Yeah, it's just happening at the worst possible time where this outbreak is kicking into gear worldwide. And I think that we're not going to see them cancel unless the county or the state, I forget, I guess they're in Cook County, over in Schaumburg, or the state of Illinois, tell them that they can't have the event.
I think Chicago's in a state of emergency. They already canceled their St. Patrick's Day parade, because so did Boston, and so did pretty much everybody.
Right.
So yeah, that's
too bad for the Irish. Too bad for the Irish Americans.
Too bad for the straight Irish Americans for the Boston St. Patrick's Day parade, unfortunately. But that's an issue for another time.
Hey.
But
yeah, so the question I'm having is, well, one, my plane tickets for Adepticon are non-refundable.
Right, same.
So if I do decide not to go, I have to pretty much go to United with my hat in hand and be like, come on, guys, help me out, please. With the hotel at Adepticon, we have a reservation, but if we don't show up, if we cancel the reservation, we're going to be fine.
Right.
Because we didn't go.
Right.
And I think there's like 24 hours on that, a 24-hour cancellation policy. So as long as if we decide to cancel, as long as we call them the day before and be like, hey, we're backing out, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But like, there's other things that, I'm starting to think about too. And one thing for me personally is I'm supposed to go on my honeymoon 1 week after I get back from Adepticon.
Yeah.
And I realized that I got married last June, but as most of our listeners do know, my mom died right after my wedding. So we didn't get to go on a honeymoon.
Yeah.
And my worry is if I go to Adepticon and I get sick, I'm not going to be able to go on this honeymoon. And that is a tragedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, that's one consideration. And then there's like the societal consideration of, we probably shouldn't be meeting in a giant convention with a bunch of other people right now.
Right. The fact that I just went to PAX East and then flew out to Oregon, like, I've spent a lot of time in some pretty big groups of people, and I was in New York right before that, which is why I got sick pretty recently. And the symptoms, I don't want to say like, oh God, I am the Corona man, I have the virus, but they weren't that different from the ones that they're saying actually are the ones for the virus. And I'm pretty okay right now, but I could still be a carrier or whatever, or there could be there's multiple strains. I could come back with one of them, and my wife is immunocompromised, and I could make her really sick, which I don't want to do. And like, we already kind of risked enough between the two of us. Like, we had to fly into Seattle to get to where we were going in Oregon. And, that's like a hot zone right now. So right. I'm very, I'm worried about this sort of thing. And she's worried about this sort of thing. And I'm like, on the one hand, if I don't go and I see all the posts, they're still going to, even if fewer people go, there's still going to be all the pictures, all the events, all the people going, all the people like ranting and raving about it.
Unless it's canceled.
Unless it's absolutely canceled. But if it's not canceled and I don't go, I'm going to see people and be like, oh man, they're having so much fun. Even though I know in my mind brain, by not going, I'm not going to get myself real sick and, get my wife and my family and friends over here real sick. Like, I know it is probably for the best to not go, but I'm still going to see that and be so fucking bummed out.
Well, I also quickly want to touch on like our moral obligation to society.
Yeah.
And like the CDC officials have been talking about flattening the curve lately. And what that means is like the big problem in Italy right now is that everybody's getting sick at the same time. Mm-hmm. And the health care infrastructure is getting swamped by cases because there's a spike in illnesses. The CDC thinks that like this is going to spread and it's going to spread to almost everyone.
Yeah.
But if it spreads to almost everyone, if it happens all at the same time, it's going to be a disaster. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it goes over a long period of time, our healthcare infrastructure can take care of it maybe, and it won't be as bad. So like, what is the right thing to do for us as members of this society? Joker memes everywhere. Like
we do live in a society. This is true.
Right. But like, do we have an obligation to limit our travel to stuff like this at this time, so we're not acting as disease vectors?
I mean, I think I don't want to speak for everybody here because like I'm not a moral arbiter. I'm just some fucking Yahoo on the other side of a microphone, on the other side of a monitor, on the other side of the country from you, right? Or from some listeners, I'm sure. And I'm just a guy. And, I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do, but I can say it's probably not the best idea to get going out there. Because, yeah, if you're going to go out there and then you come back and you can like work from home and don't have any necessary like social obligations or like people around you and you can just kind of like wait it out and self-quarantine, all right, that's probably not the worst thing in the world because as serious as this like whole virus thing is, it's not going to kill you unless you are like older or in very poor health or have like a really compromised immune system. Like you're probably going to be okay. You're just going to feel kind of crummy for a while. But, if you are coming back and like you work in, I don't know, like food service and you're like seeing stuff every day or seeing people every day and touching stuff every day, like it's a really bad idea to expose yourself to even more of this stuff if you can help it. And it fucking sucks. Like, do not get me wrong. I am not happy to not go to Adepticon, even if it is for the greater good. Like, that hurts, not just like financially because I'm losing out money on the flight or whatever, but just like it's Christmas is canceled,
Yeah.
And
are you not going?
I don't think I'm going to go. Like, I'm hearing back, not just from you, but like from other people we know who are going, who are like gung-ho, who are like the banner bearers for Adepticon, who are like the reason I started going in the first place. And even they're like, oh man, I don't know. They're like 70-30 not go to go, like right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, this has been something that's kind of been stewing in my head for the last week or so. And I'm thinking more and more it's probably the best thing to not go. Largely because, like, again, I don't have to come home and, I don't know, self-quarantine for a week and not leave the house or whatever other wild thing. Or, again, just be sick. Like, being sick sucks. I spent enough time sick.
It's a tough one, man. It's a really, really tough one.
Yeah. I figure we'll probably put out, like, I don't know, before the actual event happens, I feel like we might have a final word that you and I'll put out on like Twitter or whatever, just saying whether or not we're going. But yeah. I think right now I'm in that like 80-20 not going versus going, unless something drastic changes, which it probably won't because vaccines take a while to develop and be distributed, etc. Considering we don't have fucking tests in Massachusetts yet. Unless I'm pretty not going, I think, which really bums me out. Oh my God, it bums me out, especially like after missing Nova, which like that was due to much bigger circumstances than just a game convention. Like that was not the work. Yeah, but missing 2 of these in a row extra sucks, but I think it might be the best thing to do.
Right. And I'm kind of in the same boat. Like yesterday, if you would have asked me, I'd be like, oh, I'm fucking going. I'm not missing the Adepticon. Blah. But like now thinking about it, like, man, I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to, even my honeymoon is in question right now.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. I don't want to miss Adepticon. I fucking love Adepticon. But at the same time, I don't want to mess up my chances of going to Portugal. I don't want to mess up my relationship with my wife, and I don't want to, be a disease vector and get other people sick or get exposed to this stuff if I can help it. So it's a fucked up situation, man. I hate it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, this is kind of a bummer segment and kind of a real life segment, but this is a very real consideration, not just for us, but for an awful lot of people who are traveling right now, whether it is to Nova or Salute or Adepticon. Or
and there's people. Our friend Tyler from Australia is coming to Adepticon, or at least has the plans to come to Adepticon, and I really want to meet this guy. He does fantastic work over Goonhammer. We talk to him all the time. He seems like such a good guy. I'd hate for him to miss out on this and for me to not get to meet him. But, this could be a time when you just have to be responsible and not go to nerd camp for a week.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And being responsible is not the fun thing to do almost ever, but I think that might be what we got to do here. So keep tuned to our Twitters if you really do want to just have the final word.
We might even announce it on the channel, put out a little piece for it, because this is something that is important and something that we should keep everybody, in the loop for. This is kind of a bummer segment, but it's also an important conversation that I think we need to have.
Yeah. It's not often that real life shit affects our little made up world of plastic spacemen and fight airplanes and so on. So, bear with us here.
Yeah. So sad trombone.
Yeah,
all right, but let's.
If you want the listening experience of this episode, just listen to that sound effect for 20 minutes.
And listeners, please write in and tell us your thoughts on this matter. I'd love to hear what people think. I'd love to hear what people would plan and people's opinions on this stuff, because I'm undecided still. I would love to hear other people's perspectives on it. So if you want to write in, contact at 40kbadcast.com. Best way to reach us. Anyways, let's move on. Let's do a fun segment.
Yeah, let's pivot back to being remarkably on brand.
All right. So for the first part of this segment, we decided that we are going to assign statistics or stats to ourselves for Necromunda as if we were Necromunda characters. We're going to do it for ourselves, and then we're going to do it for each other, which I think is where the real fun is going to happen. But first, I want to address something, Campbell.
Okay.
Because those dumb chuckle fucks over at the Independent Characters podcast have been talking shit for 2 months now about how all we talk about is Necromunda.
How dare they? How dare they?
You motherfuckers, you dumbasses. So here's the thing. If we were 100% still going to Adepticon, I was going to cut like a sweet wrestling promo on how we're going to kick their ass in the challenge game. But hey, I don't even know that's going to happen. But guess what? Jody and Carl, because it's not Adon and it's not Justin. It's really just Jody, if we're going to be real. Hey, guess what, Jody? Yeah, we talk about Necromunda a lot because we like Necromunda. We're good at Necromunda. We love the fact that being good at Necromunda means nothing because it's a narrative game, and being good at it doesn't fucking matter because it's stupid and things go wrong all the time.
We love the fact that we barely play Warhammer 40,000 anymore and most just play Necromunda. How dare you? How dare you?
I'm running a Necromunda campaign. I have to play Necromunda for my players, who I also love.
It's a moral obligation.
So fuck you, Jody.
Fuck you, you good friend of mine.
Fuck you, you nice guy who we like a whole lot.
How dare you be personable and friendly?
How dare you have friendly rivalry with a different podcast? What is wrong with you?
How dare you just sear up some beef for fun?
This is a beef escalation right now. We are escalating the beef.
We're escalating from regular beef to Impossible Burger.
This was just a regular cheeseburger. Now it's a quarter pounder.
Ooh, ain't no pink slime in this beef.
Oh, it's grade A Black Angus.
Wagyu, motherfucker.
All right.
We love you all.
Let's love you, Jody. Love you, Carl. Love your podcast.
Big fan.
Mention us every episode. And our website.
Big fan. Bring us back.
Okay. What are our stats in Necromunda? I'm going first. Here we go.
Sure.
So this is me doing me.
All right.
So I'll go. I'll do me. You'll do you, and then we'll do each other. Right. This is gross.
You're just mad because I'm doing me better than you doing
Episode 68, the one where they do each other.
One episode short.
All right. I got, so here it's movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, initiative, attack, leadership, cool, willpower, intelligence, and then skills.
Yes.
Write the shit down, listeners. There's going to be a quiz at the end.
Yeah, play at home.
All right. Movement 4. I'm not fast.
No.
4 inches. I also have bad knees. I'm not moving around too fast. Weapon skill. I'm going with a 4 up here.
Okay.
I'm not a trained combat person, but I've been in a lot of fights.
Okay.
So I think I could do reasonably well in a hand-to-hand fight.
Okay.
Ballistic skill, I got 3 up. I'm good at throwing stuff.
Okay.
Real good at throwing stuff. Accurate. I've got a great arm. And we did axe throwing recently for Scott Horace Heresy's, not his bachelor party, but the night right before his wedding. And I was real fucking good at it.
Hell yeah.
Strength, I got strength 4.
I'd say so.
I'm a big guy. I'm pretty strong. I'm not like ridiculously strong, but I'm reasonably strong. Right. I've got toughness 4 also because, again, I'm in pretty good shape and I feel that I could, maybe I could tank an auto gun or a las gun
once.
On that, I have 1 wound. Just 1.
You are just human.
I'm not getting shot twice.
No.
I have an initiative of 4 up, though I'm not the quickest guy around. I'm also not like the slowest guy around.
All right.
I've got pretty good hand-eye coordination. I've given myself 2 attacks. I think I could throw a couple of punches in there. So I'm not like, over here shredding dudes in combat, but I think I can throw down a little bit.
All right.
So leadership. One thing I know I'm good at is gathering people and getting people together and having a good time. So I have a leadership of 4 up.
All right. That's pretty good.
Which is good. It's a good leadership.
That's real good.
Cool. Now, I think I'm pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm probably off the mark here.
About to say, by saying you think you're pretty cool, you instantly become a 12 plus.
I gave myself a 6+ on cool because I don't really get rattled.
Okay.
I have to do a lot of live broadcasting for my work and a lot of live events and stuff, and I keep it really cool. I'm actually good at dealing with pressure and stuff, so I give myself a reasonably good cool score.
It goes to a 5 up when you're wearing sunglasses.
Oh, it certainly does. Willpower, I just average willpower 7 up.
Okay.
Nothing special there. Intelligence, however, 8+. Not great. Not that smart, Campbell. Not that smart.
It's amazing how similar reads we have on you.
And as far as skills, I chose these are these are a little aspirational.
Okay.
But I've got Unleash the Beast, which is a muscle skill, which gives me the flex simple action to drive enemies away because they're so scared of my enormous muscles. I have Hurl.
Yep.
Because because I can throw stuff. I'm good at throwing.
Okay.
And then I've Commanding Presence, which I think is probably the one that's accurate.
About to say, I've seen you at Nova organize the entirety of the narrative gaggle. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's me in Necromunda. I think I would make a reasonably good Orlok champion.
About to say, I say you come off as maybe even a Goliath ganger, honestly, with some of those stats. But yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, because maybe Goliath. I don't know.
Movement 4 sounds like a Goliath thing to do.
Yeah, a reasonably good Necromunda character.
Okay.
There are a couple of useless combat skills in there because it's Necromunda.
All right.
What do you got?
Well, I based my stat line on an Orlok Juve because I think that's both the closest to a normal being and someone who doesn't really kill people for a living.
Okay.
So I got movement 6. I can run fast. I can actually run pretty dang fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Weapon skill, I'd say is 5 up. The last time I threw a punch was my buddy Sully when he got back with his ex-girlfriend. Big mistake. That didn't last. And one time there was a house centipede on my floor and I hit it with my shoe until I cried. So I'd say that would actually probably
that's your fighting experience.
Yeah, pretty much. Which also means I would probably have 2 attacks there because I did it quite a few times. The thing would not die.
Okay.
Ballistic skill 6 up. I really don't like guns, but I'd say a 4 up if I'm holding like an Xbox controller and have pretty generous auto aim.
Okay, cool.
Strength 3, I can do push-ups. I can chin up. I can lift a reasonable amount of weight. However, I'd say I'm probably maybe toughness 2 or 3. I'd probably barf if you punched me in the stomach.
Okay. I like it.
Wounds, just 1. I'm a large adult Juve. Initiative, I'd say I might be a 3 up here because I do yoga. I have very good balance. I have pretty good hand-eye coordination. I have caught quite a few things that I probably shouldn't have tried to reach for, but they were sharp, but I still caught them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the initiative on lock. Went over attacks. Leadership 6+. I am a manager as my job. I'm almost okay at it. So I'd say that's pretty average.
All right.
Cool is 8+ because I know I am extremely not cool, which brings me down to just an 8+. However, I do wear a motorcycle jacket on the regular, which is probably why I'm not a 7+.
That's not what cool means, though.
I'm going.
Remember.
How often do I really need this stat? I'm like, I play Goliath. They just pass everything, so I don't even need to worry about most of these stats. Willpower, I'm an 8+. I cannot resist beer, ice cream, or apparently dumb cosplay metal.
Okay.
Intelligence, I'd say I'm a 6+. I can do some tech support, hook up a PlayStation or 2. I've cracked open some computers and installed some bits in there. I'm not a professional computer toucher, but I can figure it out. And as for skills, I'd say sprint, definitely. I would say overseer, as most of my job is delegating, and hurl, but it's not throwing objects. It's just throwing up if I get punched in the stomach.
I like that. All right.
Sorry. So now it's your turn to do me.
Good. Okay, so I've got you also at movement 6 because you're speedy. I've got you a weapon skill 5 up.
Oh, okay. So we're on the same lock there.
Yeah, because I don't think you've ever been in an actual fight.
None that lasted very long.
I've got you a ballista skill 5 up.
Okay,
because I figure I have never tried to play catch with you, but I don't think it would go well. I've got you, and sorry, I've got you at strength 2.
Oh no!
Oh no! Well, I mean, you've chronic pain issues and
I do
stuff. So I'm making up with this with toughness 3.
Okay,
because you do run a lot, or at least you have run a lot, and I think cardio and toughness there is a non-zero correlation there.
Oh, that's generous. All right.
Okay. Wounds 1 again, because we're not champions here. We're just regular guys. I also have you at initiative 3 up because again, you're a little speedy, but you're coordinated somewhat. I've again, never seen you throw, but I just have a feeling that you're not good at it. I'm sorry.
I think you've seen me bowl once.
Yeah. At what is it? What was it called?
That was my
candle.
Yeah, it was candlepin bowling.
Candlesticks.
At candlepin bowling in Somerville.
Somerville.
Yeah. Flatbread.
I have you at attacks 1.
Yep.
Again, because you're not a combat guy. You're a support character. Leadership. I have you 7.
Okay.
So average. Because while you might be a manager, I've also seen you in groups, and and I don't mean this in a mean way, but you sometimes blend in.
I was about to say you don't see me in groups. That's the thing.
Cool. I have you at a 9+ for cool.
Hell yeah.
Because Campbell, you are a little bit of a nervous guy.
You don't say. I appreciate you said that instead of what I would say, which is just coward.
As far as willpower goes, I got you at a 6.
All right.
Because I think that you have pretty good self-control. You do things like work out at cons. And while you don't always get Gatorades when I tell you to get Gatorades, you do take good care of yourself and you don't, do drugs. So I've got you at it. And every time you do drugs, it's like, I think there's a lot of guilt associated with it.
Yeah.
So I've got you at a pretty strong willpower. And intelligence, I have you at a 5 up.
Oh,
because I think you're real fucking smart.
Oh, that is very generous of you, Dan.
All right. As far as skills go,
yes.
I think you have connected because you pretty much know everybody in the internet ham community.
This is fair.
I have you lie low
because you've been with me in social situations.
You tend to disappear in crowds. And then I have dodge for you because I feel like you'd be able to get the hell out of the way if it came down to it.
That's pretty solid.
Okay. I'm scared.
Oh, I mean,
you're going to be nice to me though, because you're a nice guy.
That's the problem. But here's the thing: you kind of compliment. I won't say you compliment sandwiched it. It was kind of like if there was it was like an open faced compliment sandwich. Like it starts kind of mean and then it gets really good.
Well, no, I had like
movement
we were
good.
on the same page for weapon skill and ballistic skill for the most part.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll get going on you. Similarly, I think movement 4. You are
not fast.
more on the Goliath side of mobility as far as things go. Weapon skill, I'd say 3 up because you said once that Mitch McConnell could quote catch these hands, and I know you wouldn't say that for nothing.
If I see him in public, I'll go to jail. I'm cool with it.
I don't disagree, and I would pay your bail. Ballistic skills, 6 up. You've told me you're no good at video games, and you hate guns as much as I do.
I do hate guns. I am bad at video games, but I am extremely good at throwing things.
I guess I've been in very few situations where you would be throwing things, so I've never actually gotten to see the pudding wherein lies the proof.
Okay.
Strength, I was going to give you 5 because I know you lift, and I know you lift big numbers.
I try to.
But I would say,
when my body lets me, I try to.
But I would say similarly, toughness is 4 because I would say you're a beefy boy, but you're not like a Hogan. Like you're not like that giant of beefy boy.
I'm sorry. A what?
A Hogan. Such as a Hulk.
Okay.
Wounds 1. You're a human being.
Yeah.
Initiative 5 up. Because
5 up. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I don't think you're necessarily the most graceful fellow in the world, but I haven't seen you have to. I mean, you bumped into
you'd be
things.
Surprised. I think you'd be surprised there, bud.
Now, I figure attacks.
That's fine. That's fair. That's fair.
Fun.
Yeah, that's fine.
Attacks 1 because it's a big old hug. Because I know you're a friendly fella. You may not seem it on the outside, but you are a very friendly fella. But
I'm a nice
leadership,
guy.
I put you at a 4 up because you're an orator. You're like everyone rallies around you. Like you are very much the life of the party in a social situation.
Man.
I've seen you in.
I'm getting verklempt over here.
Well, here's the counterbalance. I'd say for cool, you're a 6+ because while you're cool under pressure and you do like sports, at the end of the day, you're still a tabletop war gamer. So the number's only going to be so good.
Fair enough.
For willpower, I'd say you exercise a decent amount of self-control, but I can't put cooler water out of my head. For some reason, that's just the thing that comes to mind here. Can't just walk over to a thing you're supposed to drink out of. No, you're going to drink out of the whiskey cooler.
What he's referencing, gang, I don't know if we haven't talked about it in a while, but during Nova one year, it was one of the night games, and Scott Horace Heresy had an entire bottle of Jack Daniels that I pretty much drank all of.
Willpower,
which was
a
bad move. And I was I was putting cooler ice in there to keep it cool, and then when the ice melted, I was cutting it with the cooler water.
It's gross.
It was awesome.
It's very good. This was a few years before coronavirus hit.
I got wasted and Katie kicked my ass. Anyways, yeah. So willpower of 8+. Yeah, that tracks.
I'd say that bounced down to your intelligence of 7 up.
Ooh, 7.
I've heard you struggle.
Generous.
I've heard you struggle an awful lot with Apple computers, getting very bad and asking me how the search bar works. You click the magnifying glass and you type things in. Things come up.
It's hard.
It's hard to find the magnifying glass. There's just so many buttons.
It's hard for me.
There's so many buttons. And then for skills, I'd say bulging biceps, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
Commanding presence, obviously. And then finally, escape artist, as I know you're pretty adept at the Irish goodbye.
I am very good at getting out of a social situation before anybody else would. I do love leaving parties early.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's so much better.
But say you don't.
All right.
No one outstays their welcome.
Okay, that was good. Hey, listeners, if you want to get in the fun, email us your stats, and hey, email us what you think our stats are, and just be as mean as you can.
Just ones across the board.
Just dunk on all of us. This is the segment that everybody loves. Yeah, that's right. It's Fact or Fan Fiction. What do you got for me?
The last cannon shot went high straight into the side of the Chaos Dreadnought, causing the possessed thing inside it to howl in even more torment. The Dreadnought fired its Reaper autocannon, capitalized for some reason, back at the tactical squad of Space Marines. Bang! 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 The autocannon barked, and 3 75 caliber rounds missed and turned some trees into splinters. "Get that last cannon cool down, Barnes!" barked Sergeant Lycan. Fish! Another las cannon shot tore the essence of air apart as it sailed towards its target. Boom! The shot blew the side of the dreadnought away, and the target fell, deader than canned tuna. Nice shot, Barnes! Thanks, Sarge! Barnes yelled back. Jackson, get on the horn, tell them that Gamma Sector is clear for drop pods. Repeat, Gamma Sector is clear. Of course, brother, said Jackson. Hey, Sarge, what's that pink glint on the ground? Asked Jones. I don't know, said Lycan. We must find that last jewel shard before Naraku, said Inuyasha. We have searched the whole country for the last shard, so there is only 2 explanations, said Moroku. 1, Naraku already has it. Impossible, he'd be after us no matter the cost, said Kagome. Or, it's in another country. No way the jewel could have scattered that far, exclaimed Kagome. Well, either way, we must keep searching. Right.
I'm fucking crying. Oh my god, talk about fucking comedic timing. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh wow, excellent voice work on that one, bud.
Thank you very much.
I had no idea. I was thinking to myself, I was like, hey, this could be real. This could be a real one. And then the fucking Inuyasha drops. Jesus fuck. Oh god damn it. All right, yeah, well, we all know what that is. That is terrible weeby trash fan fiction, but god damn if that delivery wasn't good.
That is Lost in the Veil of Time by Deathwind. What happens when a squad of Space Marines find the last remaining jewel shard? Will Inuyasha and company team up with these superhumans or become bitter enemies? Warhammer 40k Inuyasha crossover. Disclaimer, I don't own Inuyasha or Warhammer 40k. You don't say Deathwind.
You don't fucking say. All right, gang. That's going to do it for us for this episode of the 40k Badcast. Let's do some plugs before we go. We are on Twitter, and other social media at DB_sleazy, at Brother SRM, Crumbs McLums on Instagram for you, Cam2D for Tumblr for you. Email contact at 40kbadcast.com. Send us shit. Come on, guys. Get at us. Engage with us. We love it. We've gotten a lot of great emails lately from a lot of cool listeners. So be one of them.
Yep.
Send us shit.
We also have a web store where you can buy t-shirts at shop.spreadshirt.com/40kbadcast. There will be a special commemorative episode shirt. There will be a special commemorative shirt for the next episode, episode 69, the most horned up of all episodes. So keep your eyes out for that one. And in addition to that and all the other cool shirts we got there, we are also on Patreon at patreon.com/40kbadcast, where we've got like 15, 16, somewhere south of 20, but getting close number of bonus episodes where we talk about all sorts of bullshit. We just recorded the February one. Sorry, we're late on that one. We'll be recording the March one real soon. We hate it when things get kind of out of sorts like that, but real life happens, unfortunately. We're doing our best to make up for it, and we got a whole bunch of fun stuff there, so go to Patreon and check it out.
Yeah. Any more plugs? Oh, Goonhammer. Yeah, go there. Look at the website, read the article. It's especially mine on Mondays.
Yeah.
Called Necromunda, about, you guessed it, Necromunda. Go to the independent characters and listen to their show. They are our friends. We love them. They also, especially Jody, suck, and I hate him.
But only because I love him so much.
Well, listen, man, love and hate, thin line.
Yeah, they're two sides of the same coin.
If he didn't make me love him, then I wouldn't be able to hate him.
That's fair. That's very fair.
All right, man. Let's get a quote and let's get the hell out of here.
All right. Happiness is a delusion of the weak.
God damn. If that's not 2020 in a quote, I don't know what is.
I know how to pick them.
All right, gang. We're the 40K Badcast. We're bad at 40K. You can too. And we will see you in the next cartoon.